Welcome to the First and Inches podcast, where every play counts and every take hits hard. Right. David is repping the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. George bleeds black and gold for Steeler Nation, and AP is still waiting on the Vikings to show up in February. We're breaking down the biggest stories in football, baseball, and anything in between. We're calling it like we see it, and no fan base is safe. Touchdown! This is the First and Inches podcast.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the First and Inches podcast. We are your hosts. I am Jorge.
I am Hooks.
And I am AP. All
What's going
day.
on, guys?
No,
What up?
looks like you're in Dallas enjoying some Cowboys pregame.
Enjoying some postseason football. No, sorry, not postseason. This is the equivalent of preseason football when it means nothing. So the Cowboys joined the ranks of the Vikings and the Chiefs.
Yes,
That teams that are not going anywhere this year.
but not your Steelers. Your Steelers still got a game and a half lead.
That's right. How does that make you feel? I know you, Adam, are used to this, but what about you, David?
Makes me want to do ayahuasca like you're the leader of the Steelers.
I'm really kind of shocked. I don't know. I can't even talk about the disappointing. Life has been really good since 2019, 2018, 2017 as a Chiefs fan. So, but that's okay. You know, one of my favorite days of the year is coming anyway.
You know, I was looking for a meme that said even God hates the Chiefs, but I couldn't find it.
I know, because God doesn't hate the Chiefs.
I know.
Just
I
the
did find
Steelers.
all of America hates the Chiefs. That's for sure. Plenty of those. All right, what's on the schedule for today, guys?
Well, I think we would cover, just do a little recap, State of the Union for our current teams as we started in with our NFL teams. And then I want to talk about MLB free agents, what we have remaining. It's going to be a slow week this week with it just being Christmas and the holidays. Most of the time,
Let's start with my team. They're in the playoff hunt,
Yeah.
leading the division.
Yeah.
I did not think this would be happening when the year started, but the Ravens have two tough games. With did y'all watch that game last night? The Bears and Packers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
Golly,
crazy.
man. That was insane. When the Packers hit that field goal to go 16, I was like, it's over. There's no way. The Bears scored twice in 4 minutes, and I'll be damned if they didn't just do
Onside
that.
kick.
But that means that the Packers have to play out the rest of the season. They're not going to be able to clinch next week. They're not going to be able to clinch until the last week if things go their way. They split with the Bears, and they do hold the tiebreaker against the Lions. So at least they don't have to worry about playing them again. But they do have the Ravens coming up, which I'm glad that the Packers have something to play for when they play the Ravens, because I need the Ravens to somehow lose one or two games down the stretch so I don't have to stress out about making the playoffs. But the Steelers have the Ravens one more time this year. That's really going to cement. Both teams win and they play that game at the end of the year. That will cement who wins the division, in my opinion. I don't want it to get to that. I want it to go out first. The Lions also have to, fighting for their position, they have to play the Ravens as well. So I'm glad that the Ravens have to deal with some real competition down the stretch.
Why did Malik Willis come in last night?
Love got a concussion. He went into concussion protocol, one of the many dirty hits by the Bears, and he went to the locker room and didn't come back.
He looked pretty good from what I read, right? Malik Willis?
Yeah, well, until he didn't, because you know what happens when you're not used to the big stage. He, when it was on the line, he fumbled the snap. So that kind of cost him the game, in my opinion. Well, not just that. There were a few things. How do you not recover an onside kick is beyond me, because you don't really necessarily, when you're a yard from the sideline, you don't necessarily have to recover the ball and land on it. Just kick it out of the way, kick it out of bounds, and it's all over, right? But that guy decides, oh, let me try and on my knees grab this bouncy ball. I don't know. He did a terrible job, and you would think that these guys are used to fielding these types of kicks by now.
Mm-hmm.
That was Romeo Dobbs, the bobblehead, right?
Was it?
Yeah,
I don't even remember.
it was.
I think he got hurt on that play too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're wearing a bobblehead, you probably should just not play football. Like, those helmets are just like, you know that has to it has to give your balance. Your balance has got to be off based on the fact that you got that thing swaying above your head, and
I know it looks so weird right now. Some of us don't like it, and it looks crazy, but I guess some kids like it. In Tampa Bay, Luke Godeek, I think it's the last name. He's a lineman, offensive lineman, number 67. He wears one of those. I think he might be one of the only players in the team that wears it, and everybody loves him for it. He's like a freaking celebrity because of it. So.
It reminds me of the NBA Jam. I don't know if you guys remember that video game. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the I mean, I don't want to get too down that rabbit hole, but down this topic. What is the composite? What is it made of? Because obviously it's got to be a light material. Otherwise, you really are bobbling.
I really don't know.
No,
yeah.
I'm going to look into
it. Made
that.
of marshmallows is what I heard.
Well, I guess they can't play out in the heat.
Yeah.
All right, so quick rundown on my Chiefs. It's rebuild or reload. I don't know which one it's going to be, but, man, their offensive line injuries, their defensive back injuries, do they keep, is Kelsey staying, Chris Jones, is it time to move on? They're in a little cap situation because they've got some of those guys that they got to figure out whether or not they're going to move on from, or send down the road. So it's a tough time to be a Chiefs fan. It's a really tough year.
Those are pretty big contracts on the offensive line, right, Hooks?
Yeah. I mean, with Creed and Trey Smith, they've got big contracts. Everybody else is. I mean, they're gonna release Juwan Taylor. They're gonna basically start over. Simmons will be back on the left side, but I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how. I trust Veach. He's gonna do the right things and get us set back up. So it's
wasn't there an undrafted free agent offensive lineman that they had that's done pretty well?
Yeah. So Pole has done real well. Jalen Moore is another one that they signed from San Francisco that'll probably cover their right side next year. So I'm not really worried about their offensive line next year. This year, obviously, with all the injuries, that's been the problem, is the injuries. The DBs definitely had injuries, definitely having issues with, the draft picks just not coming through. And like I said, Kelsey's probably gone. I sure would like to.
It's a married Kelsey, an effective Kelsey. I mean, he's going to have the pressure of being a good husband once he gets married. So I don't know.
He's never been in an argument.
Want him back.
He's never even been in an argument with Taylor Swift.
Oh my God, we're talking about this.
Have you ever gotten in an argument? Have you ever gotten in an argument with your spouse?
Yeah, because it's real life, unlike this.
Only when we're in traffic. But I mean, getting married, he's gonna want to be an amazing husband, And I understand that she understands the requirements of his career, and he does of hers. When you're newlywed, man, that might do something to his head, and he might not be all there for the new season. So I think he should retire. I think he's proved everything he needed to prove. He's made all the money. Now he's got a sugar mama. Time to hang him up.
All right, Adam, let's hear about your team.
I'm not talking about fucking Taylor Swift. I'm not talking about Taylor Swift. Talking about injuries, Christian Darrisaw, their stud left tackle, he's been in and out all year on the IR. Jonathan Grenard, top defensive player of the year voting last year, he's on the IR, shoulder injury. And their Josh Metellus, he was a 6th-round pick that they signed to a pretty big contract before this season, 3 years, $36 million. He's also on the IR. So talk about injuries. Those are 3 key players that are also compensated very well for a team that is horribly over the cap going into next year. That's a big concern because are these injuries going to be carrying over? And these are huge investments into their future. I know there's been a lot of talk with J.J. McCarthy. He's had 2 back-to-back great games, but it's been against a very poor back third defense. So we'll see how they plays today against the Giants. I think
Don't think aloud the Cowboys back third defense. They're the second worst defense in the whole league. Their whole defense is terrible.
Right, but the Commanders, yep, I'm just grouping it all together. But anyway, supposedly KOC, their head coach, is upset with the way he's had to dumb down their offense. There's been different reports. And now they're playing a pretty much elementary style play calling for J.J. McCarthy, but maybe this is momentum and it builds up that he can handle that big play scheme that KOC has, that he's had success with Darnold and Kirk Cousins. I will say this, though. Everything you keep reading and hearing about Joe Burrow, he's absolutely going to be on the market, especially the fact that the Bengals are going to fire their head coach, most likely, Zach Taylor. It will be interesting to see what kind of offers, because just yesterday it was reported that the Dolphins was going to give up 4 first-rounders for Joe Burrow. So, there's 4 or 5 teams that wouldn't trade for this man, Joe Burrow. So I would be willing, in my opinion, going back to the cap hits that the Vikings have, if they could mortgage everything they possibly could to go get Joe Burrow so he can handle that comprehensive, very deep offensive playbook that KOC has. Because as much as I like J.J. McCarthy, it's just not bought in yet. I was to start the season, but I've been since proven wrong.
Justin Jefferson has got to be so pissed about this season.
Yeah,
a lost season.
But also from the trajectory. He was on, these first 5 years, he was the greatest wide receiver by statistics we've ever seen. And he was blowing everyone out of the water. Randy Moss, everybody. Terrell Owens, even though Terrell Owens was kind of low, middle of his career that he had great years. But now it's got a lot that goes right, so he can only get 1,000 yards. Right? He's got low 800, I think like 805 or something like that. So I know that's got to be in the forefront of his mind. In fact, KOC did say it last week that they're going to do everything they can to get that man his 1,000 yards. It's kind of weird. Look what Mike Evans, what he did. Because that's a thing, 11, 12 straight years of 1,000 yards. Of course, that got blown out of the water this year with the.
He still has a chance. He only has to average like 400 yards a game.
Yeah. Right. Justin Jefferson needs like 70 yards per game, and you would think that'd be in the bag for a guy like him, but it's not. In fact, I'll just say this before we move on. Last week, J.J. McCarthy had a perfect quarterback rating when throwing to anyone but Justin Jefferson. Wow. 158.3. And then Justin Jefferson, it was to the tank. In fact, that pick where it was tipped at the line was intended for Jettas. Anyway.
Dang. All right.
I don't think, hold on, before we move on, because I don't think J.J. McCarthy has what it takes.
No, neither do I.
To progress right away. He still has a little punk in him. You see him when he makes a great play. It's like, he doesn't act like he's been there before or like it's business. To him, it's still a freaking joke, right? He thinks he's still in college. Or backyard football, whatever. I don't think he's going to apply himself to be at a position by next season where he can be the leader using that whole playbook and be what the team needs.
Especially if it's being ran by Kevin O'Connell, who is a offensive-minded head coach. So yeah, I would agree with that. I think a lot of it is kind of a reaction to how the media and the fans and everyone has treated him, because he had the 4-5 games of the worst of a quarterback in the history of football. That's no joke. So I think a lot of it is, I know what you're meaning, Jorge, and I agree. But I think a lot of it is a defense mechanism to say, like, basically, fuck you for everybody, how they, just completely discarded them. And rightfully so, both sides, right? So,
one guy that I think would do well with this offense, Kirk Cousins.
Dude, I'm a Cousins crusader.
At least that your quarterback sucks. And think about the Dolphins. They're stuck on that Tua bandwagon. I mean, they're benching Tua. They still owe him $60 million. Like I said, at least your quarterback sucks, and you got to go find another one. I mean, having Kirk Cousins lead you to mediocrity is better than this year, but you still were stuck with Kirk Cousins. At least this way, hey, our quarterback's not good. We got to go find another one.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's a bunch of teams like the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys are stuck with Prescott. I mean, Prescott is a really cool Christmas present, but he has to have batteries with it. You can't play with Dak Prescott unless you got good running backs and wide receivers and everything else to go with him. It's a Christmas toy that needs batteries.
All right, with that said, I'll jump into NFC. I'll take NFC. Listen, man, I didn't like the whole Prescott deal for the first 4 years, the big contract. Like, I thought he was overpaid for what he brought to the table. But without the injury, Prescott has been a very consistent quarterback. He has already surpassed the records of Tony Romo. He's already surpassed some of the records for offense in the Cowboys' history. I know that, traditionally they were more of a running team back in the 70s, but nevertheless, I think that he has been consistent. He doesn't fall apart as much as other quarterbacks do in the league. No, and I get it. He's not as elite as a Mahomes or, I don't know who else you want to put up there with Mahomes. Tom Brady, obviously. But what else are you going to do? Who else are you going to put back there with the Cowboys to produce what Prescott has produced? There's not many quarterbacks in the league that can do that, with or without the talent he has or hasn't had. So I think that where the Cowboys fall short is everywhere else, because they have an offense that can help them either win or not lose games, and that's really all you ask for in this league. But then you have a defense and special teams that are losing games for you to the extent that the offense can't overcome. So I used to not love Prescott, but I'm starting to look and see where he has ranked in the past years, 6-7 years within the league. He has been very consistently, towards the top. Right now, he's, I think, the second quarterback in the league in yards. So he has done a lot better than I thought he would. And I wouldn't change him for anybody else. I wouldn't change him if I was the Cowboys. I wouldn't change him for who? Besides Mahomes, take him out of the picture. Who else would you rather have in Dallas? Nobody.
That was my worst quarterback. Cousins for 6 years.
He's the worst quarterback in the NFC East. Like, I'd take all the other quarterbacks.
Can't be. Listen, I know Jalen Hurts wins, but you can't tell me that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, right? Who do we have in Washington? The carousel of quarterbacks in New York. You're going to tell me
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart's better than Dak Prescott? Come on now.
I'd take them all.
Well, I would take Hurts over Prescott. He does have a Super Bowl. And but to your point about the other two, Jaden Daniels, he's played a season and a half. And Jackson Dart, he's played 7 games.
Hurts has the defense. I'll keep Prescott and bring me the defensive coordinator from Philly. And then Prescott probably wins the Super Bowl too.
I can't believe that you're talking about the Christmas present that needs batteries. the Christmas present that needs batteries.
We know
He's the
Jorge's
worst
staying
quarterback
in Dallas.
in that. I guarantee you, if they did a draft, he would be the fourth quarterback that goes in the NFC East. He would.
Here we go. Nope. And I'm not just saying that because I give him a bunch of money for season tickets every year, or because I'm here today supporting my wife's losing team. I seriously do believe that Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC East, probably in most of the NFC, probably top 2 in the NFC altogether.
Whoa.
So listen, he makes more money than anybody else at quarterback, but you're gonna be. I mean, they're not even gonna make the playoffs this year. They're eliminated, like last night.
I get it. Neither is your quarterback.
So my quarterback, just you need to clip this.
Oh, here we go.
My quarterback has never played a down, not being able to go to the playoffs. He is every play he has played, he still had a chance to go to the playoffs.
I think he knew that, and then he went down and injured himself on purpose so that he could continue saying that, right?
Yeah,
because
that's why
the teammates or MVP weren't playing for him. The refs this year, they weren't doing this. They weren't pulling their part.
You're such a chump. All right.
Welcome back to reality.
So all right. So AFC West, Denver, and I'm going to be real quick about this. Denver, I've got multiple friends who are Denver fans, and if you're listening, Denver is the worst 12-2 team in the history of the NFL. Like, that is insane. The
Why,
Chargers,
why,
are dirt. They are dirty players. They're out trying to. What's that, Adam?
Why are the Broncos the worst 12-2?
They've been behind in 10 of their or 11 of their 12 wins. Like they're just not good. Like, but the Chargers are dirty players, and like I never hope that players get hurt because I don't want like karma to come back at my players. But the Chargers players like literally are trying to knock people out. I mean, they gave multiple players concussions.
Bounty gate.
Yeah, 100%. And the Raiders are a trash organization. So Denver, enjoy your 1 year. Chargers and Raiders, I hope you never win another game. Go Chiefs.
Well,
they might get bounced out of the playoffs quickly.
Yep.
I'll just touch on the AFC East, which I think is a very top-heavy or front half with the Patriots and Bills, right? So both teams, you're talking about the Bills, who have a top 3 offense in all of football. That's not just the AFC, but the entire football. You also got I wrote this down here. Listen to this. Their defense is actually, and I had no idea the Bills' defense had this, their top 10 defense. Now, you want to go over to the Patriots, who have arguably the best defense in the entire NFL. I mean, you can make a case, right? They have always been like a very great defensive team, but their offense is a top 10. So they've flipped it. So not only you have such a complete team in the Bills and Patriots, but they flipped offensive giant versus a defensive giant. But they're still not heavily weighted one way or the other. I'm not going to touch anything on the Patriots. I mean, not the Patriots, but the Dolphins.
Hold on, real quick. So the problem with the Patriots is they're playing a last place schedule. So
they can't control that. How do you know they wouldn't be? How do you know they wouldn't be good teams?
Them looking great is because they're playing all of the last place teams in their schedule.
I can't hold a team. I can't grade a team against them playing. They can't help their defense.
They lost to the Raiders.
Their schedule.
They lost to the Raiders.
They're still a top 10 team all the way around. Now get this though. I'll say this: the Jets have not had one interception this year, and last year it took them 13 weeks to get their first interception. So turnovers are everything, right? And you're talking about a team that has no direction in quarterback, no direction in front office, and now you're talking a bottom tier team and defense. It's actually hilarious because the Jets have always had the issues with quarterback and management. But when you look at it from a level of another pillar of which to build a successful team. They're lagging there too. It's actually hysterical. But going back to the Patriots, I know they play against bad teams, so you're holding that against them. But I'm telling you, this team is for real. Drake May is for real. I would take Drake May over Dak Prescott. I think he is. Yeah. And other teams sold too because everybody tried trading up for him too. He's a winner. He took that team from what they won 4 games last year, and he didn't even have that bad of a rookie year. And now he's an arguably MVP candidate along with the other badass quarterback, Josh Allen. So boom, take that to the bank.
Prescott.
Right before you continue spewing your trash, offensive leaders, total yards, Dallas Cowboys, 396 yards
How many
per
wins?
game.
How many wins?
The Rams, the Bills, the Lions, the Bears, and the rest of your sorry teams. Passing, 276, Dallas Cowboys, number 1. In front of the Rams, the Lions, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. Bro, get off of Dak Prescott. This ain't the year. I get it, they didn't make the playoff, and it's easy to hate on them, but this is not the year. The only quarterback that has more yards than Dak this year is Stafford, right? And then we got Mahomes at number 5. Mm-hmm. Dak is number 2. Get off of Dak.
Listen, he's got toys He's got batteries this year. He's got Pickens
they've got
and Lambs.
Yeah, they've got 3 studs.
You know, Mahomes came with one of those batteries that you can't change. It was a great battery for 5 years running. Now it's just time for a new toy.
Duracell. Mm-hmm. Well, they just need to go to the local penitentiary. They can find someone to play for them. The Chiefs, that is.
Yeah. Okay. So the last thing that really we need to talk about is almost every Jets fan that I know is also a Mets fan, and it's just like. How do you set your kids up to be such failures to have them be Jets fans? Like, I can't imagine how sad life is if as a Jets fan and as a Mets fan, and then there are Knicks fans too. And it's like, oh my God, it's so disgusting.
And not only that, you're getting goosed as a Knicks fan. You see that? Getting the goose.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right.
I'm a Mets fan and a Knicks fan, but I don't even know any Jets fans. So the fact that you know 2, that's pretty good, man.
So just a loser organization. So what about all these Boras players that haven't signed yet?
Well,
I mean, it happens every year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it hasn't. I remember back in the days, like it was always a deal where, Boras' players always just landed super smooth, big contracts, sent them on their way. It's not happening anymore.
Well, he's finding a new recipe, though. It's like when the pandemic hit. If you have three rolls of toilet paper left for sale, right? They're gonna jack up the price because you can. Maybe that's working for him this past 5-6 years.
Oh, it will work
keep
too.
Our players to be the last ones on the board, and then when you need to take a crap on your team, you're gonna overpay.
Who was Boras? Carlos Correa? Was he a Boras guy? Do you guys know?
I don't remember.
I could look it up, but I'll tell you. Aside from Boras, what I did was I went through and I took. Now, granted, there are, we won't see any kind of signings until next year because of the holidays. But I went through and I built a team. Now, I know everybody does this every year, but I looked the last 2 years of combined WAR for each player. And I built a lineup on the remaining free agents. And listen to this. I'll make it quick. I just want to outline. This is a collective 50 WAR across 9 players, right, for the last 2 years, which is, you're talking, there's some real talent here. And their ages aren't egregiously high either. So this is a sustainable WAR. Listen to this. Bellinger leading off. I got him at center field. Bichette ripping it at short, hitting 2. Kyle Tucker, he'll get a 10, 11-year deal. We know that. Hitting 3rd. Bregman, I don't like him. I know Hooks has got a love affair for him and that whole Astros team. He's at 3rd. First base, and this is a guy, I can't believe I didn't think about it, Ryan O'Hearn. I'd love for the Reds to get him. He can actually smack it. JT Realmuto, how am I saying? Yeah. at Riamoto. Yeah, at catcher.
He's an Oklahoma guy.
Listen to this.
Carl Albert.
My DH.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Eugenio Suarez. I've got him at DHing. Miguel Andujar and left field. He did great for that last little stretch for the Reds. And Willie Castro made his fame with the Twins when it got traded to the Cubs at the deadline. But he's hitting in the 9 hole. But like I said, that's a 48.7, around up to 50 WAR for a lineup that can absolutely bang. And you got the oldest guy there is Eugenio Suarez at only 34. So that shows you there's a lot of youth and there's a lot of talent left. I got Suarez, Ranger Suarez, and Valdez as a couple starting pitchers, and Kirby Yates as a closer. So you can build a hell of a team with what's remaining.
So Correa.
Why don't we just get every player and start the new team? Do we start it? Is it going to be with the Dreamers in Orlando? Are we going to Portland? Are we going to Charlotte? Let's just take that whole team and take it to the World Series.
Well, I think, yes. Yeah, we could do it too. It's like quite an investment, but I think it's
I'm sure our luxury tax won't be anywhere near where the Dodgers is.
No, you're going to be close. With that team, you'd be close. But yeah, Correa was is a Boras guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the 3 of the top 4 free agents, Tucker, Bregman, Bellinger, are all 3 of them are Boras guys. And
they'll get paid, and they're going to get their contracts too.
Are they going to get paid? Like let's put a number. What's your number for Tucker? Because I mean, I think it was 10 years, 12 years, $40 million a year, $45 million a year. What's your number? Like,
oh, he'll get $400 million.
You think he's okay? You think $400 million?
Oh yeah.
What about it, Jorge?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll get right at what they're looking for.
No,
yeah.
I don't think he's getting it. Bregman just walked away, and they're like, he may have lost money from the deal he just walked away from.
That's the only guy I can't think that might not max out his contract to the estimations, but of the rest of them, yeah, he's the only guy I'd fear.
Is Pete Alonso a Boras guy?
I don't know, but I know Bellinger is, and I know that Bellinger, the only 2 options he's got, because the Dodgers won't deal with Boras. They will not unless it's a discount. They don't deal with him. It's the Mets or the Yankees.
Until they make a trade with Detroit.
Are you willing to replace Alonso with Bellinger for a 7-year contract that they didn't want to give Alonso 5?
No, I mean, I'm not, but somebody is willing to do that.
Yeah. So what's Murakami? Is that how you say the dude that he's got to sign by tomorrow? I mean, he's got to sign by tomorrow, or he's not going to the MLB.
Do you think there's a chance he doesn't? Who's in on him? Everybody?
The Reds?
Not the Dodgers.
The Reds? He's a Schwarber kind of hitter. Would you take him?
Yeah, I take anybody that had a beating pulse that could hit above average, offensive. They can hit bombs. That's the main thing.
You take anybody. They don't hit anything.
It's 2 a.m. at the bar, and he's like, "I'll just take anybody."
Yeah, yeah, Jorge, you're tight with Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll.
All right, so who's y'all's chump of the week?
I hadn't thought of that one.
I got mine.
Go for it.
All right, gotta make sure I'm ready for this. The chump of the week is the fans who think that the NFL is scripted. If you think the NFL is scripted, do you think the Chiefs would be out? Do you think the Cowboys would be out? Do you think the biggest city in New York with the 2 best teams, or the biggest city, New York, would be out? Do you think that the Texans, who are the 3rd biggest city, would be out? This this NFL can't be scripted because you can't convince thousands of people, except when you're in WWE, you can't convince people to say, "Hey, we need to take one for the team." So the people who think that the NFL is scripted, you're the chump of the week.
Maybe script is the wrong word. Maybe thick
Yeah.
is the right word.
Maybe there's a
think the
collective
Dallas
bias.
You think the Dallas Cowboys would be out if it was biased?
No, I'm saying like some of these players are doing some suspect stuff out there.
I agree.
So I don't know.
All right.
Not saying anything else.
You think Antonio Brown would have told us the truth if it was scripted?
I think he got his head knocked off by Burfect or whatever his name was. So he's crazy now. So even if he did, we don't know.
They'll tell you anything for $1 right now. So.
My chump of the week going to go with the Bengals. Everything that's coming out with Joe Burrow, and you have absolutely lost this. This franchise is on a downward spiral. Their head coach is probably out. You've got, generational wide receiver. You have completely mismanaged assets, and now you can't even keep it under wraps that there's problems within the clubhouse. And Joe Burrow, it's going to be hard to rectify this. You have the second best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, and you have completely lost this franchise, set it back even further. I don't even know how you get out of this. I think with everything that's out, that you do have to trade them and do basically a factory reboot. But now you've got some big-ass contracts that you've got to contend with. And I just think that it's a lot like the Angels, what they did in baseball with Trout and Ohtani. You've got generational talent, and you do nothing with it. You don't even make it a deep run into the playoffs. So my chump of the week is the Cincinnati Bengals organization as a whole.
All right. I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. Are you trying to tell me that you're trying to win by bringing Rivers in? Or are you trying to tell me that you'd rather have this old man come hobble around on the field than just throw in one of the guys you're paying, close to $1 million a year to be in your practice squad or whatever? It's like a slap on the face to the fans.
Yeah.
We know that we may not have a chance, but we know that Phillip Rivers is not the answer for getting us to the postseason and beyond. What are we doing? Now they turned the whole season into a joke. It's a joke. They've always been a joke, but now they weren't a joke for 15 weeks, and now they're a joke. So, Colts, Rivers, come on now. That makes no sense. Chump.
I like it. Obviously, it's money driven, right? I think so. They just know that that's going to sell. That's going to bring a lot of people to check in on Grandpa Rivers, spinning it down the field. But
a bobblehead of him out there with a cane. Come on now.
Yeah.
Dude, that is. Okay, I'm changing my chump of the week. It's Jorge is the chump of the week. That is insane, dude. What was it? 30 seconds. If we just 30 seconds, just wasn't on the end of the clock last week. Phillip Rivers wins that game against Seattle
defense.
Who is Seattle is leading is in first place in the NFC.
And I did a rally up on them a couple of weeks back. They've got a really, really good defense.
I mean, Phillip Rivers.
I think Jorge's point was intent, right? Jorge's point was, if they were intentionally trying to win, I don't think Phillip Rivers factors into this scenario. No, I think you build around, you continue what you already have in house. Phillip Rivers was better than any other quarterback that they could have brought in there. I don't know. It's hard to dispute because he put him, he didn't win that game or keep that game close. He just managed it. He didn't put it over the edge. I'm not saying anything derogatory about Phillip Rivers.
The defense kept that game close.
Right.
Not often
he just didn't lose it.
But to be fair, the Seahawks do have a hell of a defense, as I research. So I can see
Not
both
often.
sides, but I think it's money driven. To
Not
Boras'
often. Not often that we have 4 chumps of the week, but this week we had 4 chumps of the week. That one there. So
You know who's not a chump of the week? The leader of the number 1 offense in the NFL, Dak Prescott. Let's go.
God.
Here we go. Play spoiler for the rest of the year. Let's go. All right, man. Well, good show. Thanks for joining me here in Arlington, Texas. As you can tell, I'm still at the hotel. I try to do a podcast from the AT&T Stadium backyard, but Wi-Fi had other ideas. So I appreciate all the listeners and all people watching out there in the interwebs. You can find us on your favorite podcast app, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can find us on YouTube, the First and Inches Podcast, and our Instagram and Facebook page are starting to put out some content. So interact with us, and we'll tell you how wrong or right you are. Any last thoughts, guys?
Nope.
Can't see me.
Can't see me.
Here we go, Cowboys. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Bye.